Michael, talk to us first about the drivers of your quarterly earnings and your raised forecast. What's behind it?
Yeah, thanks for the opportunity. We've got tremendous momentum in our business. We had another quarter of double-digit organic growth. We expanded EBITDA margins more than 180 basis points in the quarter and continued to generate significant cash flow. And all of that momentum has enabled us to deploy over $4 billion of cash this year towards bringing in new capabilities via M&A. So it's an exciting time to be here at Avantor.
And as I understand it, the role that you play in life sciences is to offer a lot of the inputs that other companies need to do their work. How were you affected by the pandemic interrupting supply chains and even labor shortages in some parts of your business?
Yeah, it's been a very challenging environment, to say the least, really since the beginning of the pandemic. At first, some of our end markets, particularly things like academia, were hit pretty hard. But at the same time, things in biopharma really started to ramp as research for, a COVID vaccine, picked up in a significant way. But we started to see pretty early on, shortages of key materials. Firstly, some of the personal protective equipment that scientists and technicians would need to work in a clean room became quite short, and it's moved through various categories, since the beginning of the pandemic. But, clearly, labor has been, difficult to come by, particularly here in the United States throughout most of the pandemic. But the teams have done a tremendous job finding solutions and workarounds and being able to leverage our global capabilities, our global footprint to continue to be able to service the unprecedented rise in demand from our customers.
Well, you have also a pretty incredible seat, Michael, in terms of watching breakthroughs. You had a key role in Operation Warp Speed and the super fast development of the COVID vaccine. Do you see any other exciting breakthroughs that you can share?
No, it really has been an exciting time to be part of the life sciences space. I can't think of a more exciting time, in fact, and certainly the work that we do has probably never mattered more. The work we did around COVID was very gratifying. We were supporting all modalities, whether it be mRNA, which we've all come to learn a lot about here over the last 18 months, or even some of the other modalities. But those same technologies are also being pervasively used across a number of therapeutic areas to treat diseases that we've never been able to treat before. There was some earlier announcements here in recent months about things like Alzheimer's, for example, that we now have an approved therapy for that we haven't had before. So the promise of science, I think, has certainly been on display here throughout the pandemic. There's a pretty attractive funding environment given the opportunities here that's really allowing us to accelerate the development of a lot of different technologies. And it certainly creates a bright future for all of us here in the life sciences space.
And it sure looks as though you've taken advantage of a funding environment to retire some debt and kind of reorganize your balance sheet a little bit. How does that place you now for the flexibility for what you might want to do, whether that is your organic growth or whether that's acquisition?
Yeah, that's been an important part of our development here over the last couple of years, is being able to reposition our balance sheet to give us the flexibility to not only invest to drive organic growth, but it's allowed us to return to M&A. And as I mentioned, we've deployed over $4 billion of cash this year towards two acquisitions that we have closed in the second quarter, and an additional acquisition here that we should close here any day now, which allows us to bring in new capabilities, enhance our model, and create more value for our customers. We now have our balance sheet in a position where, on an ongoing basis, we should be able to deploy more and more capital towards, growing our business, which, is really exciting to be part of.